Here at Adobe, we've spent decades crafting the most powerful creative software you can possibly imagine, but with the power of AI, you no longer need to learn how to use it. Instead of going to university for 3 years and being stuck with 20 grand's worth of debt that you haven't paid off after over a decade, we'd prefer it, you idiot, we'd prefer it if you simply typed in a prompt to create an image, as you no longer need to be a designer or illustrator to use our products. It doesn't matter if AI images like this Jaguar look very poorly rendered, half-finished and not very realistic, but let's say you want to add a shuttle to this space background. You could do this through Adobe Stock and find one of the thousands of images of shuttles that can be cut out in a matter of seconds because Photoshop allows you to do this, or you can simply add one with AI, like this. Perfect. But that's not all. Now you can create a design just based on a sketch. So you too can create a poster that looks incredibly generic and like everything else you find on any stock photo website. Why not generate vector illustrations, as we've shoehorned generative AI into Adobe Illustrator 2, as you no longer need to work on your craft or grow as a designer or illustrator anymore. And why should you? We've strived to plagiarize so many talented artists by stealing their work and style without their permission, and posting these images to Adobe Stock with the artist's name still in the title. But remember, Adobe is a creator-first company. And just ignore the time we updated our terms of service that would have allowed us to access or listen to what you've created. It's essentially spyware, potentially violating NDAs or work-from-home agreements. And of course, you couldn't disagree and continue to use our software, you had to agree to these terms. After we got caught with our pants down due to the rapid rise of Canva, we hastily rebranded our competitor to Adobe Express, in order to target the same user base that doesn't want to fork out for our overpriced subscriptions. And of course, it wouldn't be an Adobe product without us shoehorning AI into it. So you too can use the same generic templates and generate designs that already look like everything else on social media. Because in this day and age, you don't need to think about what you produce anymore. Churning out content for social media is far more important than making impactful content. Similar to Canva, the likes of Sketch and Figma have really changed the game for UI design software, so we entered the same space with our equally innovative solution, Adobe XD. But in such a competitive space, instead of working on XD to improve it and bring it to the same level of Figma and Sketch, we did what we do best and tried to buy Figma for a ridiculous figure of $20 billion. It worked for Adobe Audition when we bought a software called Cool Edit Pro and slapped the Adobe logo all over it. But when the Figma buyout hit a roadblock as it was deemed the merger could harm competition in the future, we've since just given up on Adobe XD, as it was always an inferior version of Sketch anyway. It doesn't matter that our software is still very buggy and hasn't been fixed despite a number of well-known issues, as we hold dozens upon dozens of patents, so competing software can't use the same features and have to find much less intuitive ways to implement them. Be sure to attend Adobe MAX, our AI conference. Our creative conference. The issue with AI in design is getting so bad we even have to clarify that we're not trying to replace humans or designers, even though our last conference had a huge focus on AI and we announced a number of new AI features. We have an AI product now called Gen Studio, where you can generate entire advertising campaigns with just a prompt. We've shoehorned AI features into Adobe Premiere, even though once again the software is slow and difficult to use and our competitors are open source, easier to use and free. And let's not forget Firefly, as this lets you generate full motion video nightmare fuel with just a single prompt. But again, we're not trying to replace humans. AI may have started out as a useful tool for us, but it's now the focus of our business and software. Despite the likes of Photoshop existing since the late 1980s, you can't just buy any of our software anymore. Instead, you'll be paying for an Adobe subscription until you die. And don't forget, you'll have to pay us just to cancel your subscription.